name is Casper, and I'm here to share with you how I write music. For me, writing music is pretty simple. You just need to know what it takes. You need to have an idea and emotion behind it, and then that'll make a good song. So basically, if I'm starting to write a song, I gotta be in the mood first of all. And I'll always plug in, this is usually my pedal setup that I have. So I actually have a reverb first and a reverb at the end just because I really like that washed up feel. I'll show you what that sounds like in a sec. But then I got overdrive, volume pedal obviously, delay, another delay, and then a bigger reverb. Packs more of a punch. And this is just a tuner. So obviously I'm going to turn my Fender Blues amp on. I generally stay away from this reverb switch, or whatever you want to call this, just because I have a bunch of reverb pedals that I use and I don't like the way that this one sounds. As for my EQ, I really like, generally speaking, a high middle frequency. I do like a lot of bass in the mix, except not as much compared to my treble and bass. And usually treble will match the middle. I really like a bright, clean guitar tone. I feel like that brings out a lot of the twang in the sound. I always, whenever I'm practicing at home, I put on 2 because this amp is very loud, and 2 is actually extremely loud, even for when you're right next to it. When I'm in the mood to write a song, I always have some sort of emotion going through my head, or just something I'm really thinking about. And during that thought is when I always like to come up with the initial maybe start of the song, chorus of the song, something important that has to do with the song. So in Apparition's sense, I remember I started playing something just pretty easy, just like this, which then developed into a chord progression. That's the verse chord progression. Once I have a solid verse down, I will actually go and record it into my GarageBand. It may take a couple seconds to load, but I'll start a new session, go to the record. I know this isn't very professional or anything, but I'll basically record all my guitar tracks in stereo I'll record all of my guitar tracks in stereo and the vocal parts all separately, just so I can have a good idea of what it would sound like once I actually go in the studio. The lyrics that I write, I always write the verses first. And the way that I do that is because if you write the verses first, I like to write the chorus verses as almost like a general message of what the song is actually about. So, for example, the verses can tell a story, and then the choruses would tell me, I almost tell you actually, the emotion or the general idea of what those verses are kind of about. If I'm going to be writing it emotionally based, I'm going to have an idea or a thought or an emotion in my head, and I want to get that out on paper basically the cleanest way possible. And what I mean by the cleanest way is you don't really think about what to say because your thoughts are already in your head. So generally the first thing that comes out of my mouth, singing it or writing it, it really doesn't matter, is kind of what I'm going to have the song be about. That's really the fundamentals of how I write all the songs. As for the other technical stuff, obviously there is mixing and mashing that goes in the mix. I'm not the one that actually does that, although I have a little bit of the say. This is what the chorus sounds like when it's done.